Well, howdy, folks. I couldn't tell you what time it is right now. It's probably way after 11 o'clock in the morning. It is Tuesday, the 9th or 10th of November. Yeah, pretty much the disaster zone called a sleeping chamber. Very much so. Well, a little bit of relocation at this point over here. Felt like I needed to in the first place. Things are happening like crazy that I probably need to get things going. Rather dusty, don't you think? Been having that thing up for over a year. Lighting the place. So I can keep up what's going on outside and see what else is happening. Not to mention having some light and staying away from the news for a short time. We have a very contentious year when it comes down for dealing with the political and dealing with everything else these days. It's important to keep up some kind of morale going on. Hold on. So, back in my usual spot again, because I find it's the most comfortable place to talk things about. Wait for the new hour to come up so I can get more political insanity going on. In a Facebook chat area, somebody happened to post a plea, a wish, a hope for people to return to prayer from a guy named M. Russell Ballard. Apparently he's a head honcho over the Church of Latter-day Saints. According to this one particular meme, it was stated that our country was formed on prayer and needs to go back to prayer. In a situation, a contentious area like we're dealing with right now, I would agree partially regarding the spirituality and the need for prayer at this point over here, because the powers that be that are guiding and maneuvering us left and right, we probably do need some more spiritual advisement at this point over here, even if we're not going to be able to take it or not. But we still need to know and understand that things are happening beyond our own damn control, which is crazy enough anyway. But to suggest that the country was founded purely on religion, no, it wasn't. New lands were already formed by Native Americans who were here many generations ago, before we even had explorers to see the new land. And they seeded and they multiplied. They had their own religions, they had their own culture. And the Europeans came by and screwed things up with the damn smallpox and everything else. Historical context. We had conquerors out there to exploit the land and people, and we had religious folks to, exploit their naivety into thinking that God is going to help them out by using their both rod and carrot at the same time. I kept thinking maybe the Europeans should never have come to the New World in the first place, but we had. No changing history at that point over here, no wishing or making a remark like that. Usually opens up to something like manifest destiny. Manifest destiny, the European way of life. It is mankind's destiny to rule over man. I thought that was a European. No, actually that's the conquering philosophy, basically. And to say that our country was formed on religion and needs to get back to prayer, actually formed on prayer and was existing on prayer, and we still need to get back to prayer. That's individual preference at this point over here, but to post something like that without further context or warning saying that It is up to each individual's preference to do so or not. This should have been a warning, but there wasn't. So there was an illusion of a religion being forced down upon people. Misconstrue the meme, misconstrue the message. We live in the world of political correctness at this point over here that anything we say or do, we have to make sure that we're accurate, or otherwise we're not going to be accurate. We're going to be misconstrued in our own intentions and our own meanings because things are taken well out of context. And even if we mean one particular situation, individuals or a group of people will be taking it too harshly and will counter. I know I have. A little bit of a warning to the poster at this point over here. The poster was worried about our spiritual condition at this point over here, that we need prayer. Well, maybe we need lots of prayers at this point over here to survive 2020 and the COVID and the political nightmare we have. It's one thing to suggest that, but to put an indication of a meme of saying that our country was formed purely or even solely on religion itself, religious freedom, is a misnomer at that point, because there had been other things. If you look things into historical context, people were trying to get the hell away from their respective governments, including England. Spain looked for conquest, France looked for conversion, so I had Spain. England was looking for more places to exploit and to colonize. Sorry, but I'm putting that out there anyway. It's all depending upon your point of view of how you're looking at history at this point. Point. Oh yes, our point of views. What we understand, what we don't understand, what we're trying to get clarified and not clarified. Without going into a damn tirade at this point over here. What I'm trying to indicate is things are done with many points of views attached, and not solely one point of view is the primary and the accurate. England, when they did theirs, they were looking for more places to exploit. But people were trying to run away from the damn government and wanted freedom to worship their own way. Calvinists were coming over. People didn't want to have religion forced down their throat by a state, by a monarchy. It wasn't formed entirely on prayer, our country. It was formed on many beliefs of many systems. What should have been done, what should not have been done. Formed by action, formed by blood, formed by deeds, formed by thoughts. But not purely or solely on religion. Based on liberty and freedom, yes. Based on laws, yes. But those laws also based on how to worship and how not to have religion of any sort forced on a person. It's all relative context at this point. For whatever versions of history that you're learning at, in whatever stage or state, or even age, they say history changes all the time. Although when things are verified, categorized, classified, indexed in a numerical sequence, possibly somewhere, we try to get a better accurate information of what the hell happened in history. The more information we get from other sources, the better of our context we have concerning about our history, about ourselves, about our country, about our world, about our lives being led, and situations happening. In this age of mass media that we have, it's a recording of the pen and paper, And then we have recordings put on records. And then we have movies, actual pictures that move, and then audio recordings, photographic records. We actually have radio being formed, and we have television being formed. We had newspapers galore for almost a couple of centuries. We have internet to share things left and right. The digital media that shares things left and right. But also misconstrue things as well. And I hate to say it, but sometimes even photographs can misconstrue as well. Be ambiguous, not actual and factual. And I'm not talking about in the digital age, I'm talking about in the other age of early photography. I took a photography class, history of it. I like history a little bit. I was trying to learn how to use a camera, and then I started learning how history affects pictures and how different shots work. And how opinions can be formed by different shots, but also how the shots can fool people. How certain things, which seems to be accurate enough, can tell us a different story than what we were led to believe. So what is considered reality and what is considered fantasy? And what is considered truth? And what is considered fiction writing? For a lot of comments I've read on the internet, one particular source of just answering it for many times, I considered not to look at that particular poster for a long while. It's not exactly the guy who's considered an anarchist. It's just an uncomfortable feeling. I mean, sometimes I agreed with it, but other times I have to look at what's being presented in different forms and fashions to have my own damn opinion without commenting on someone else's opinion that's been influencing my own. It should be that way instead of saying, well, I agree with this one because of this and this and that. I should be agreeing with my own damn opinion of what I'm hearing and understanding at this point. I mean, I hear political commenters from different media sources, both online and on the visual that we see, and in an old-fashioned print. We have to have our own opinions. We have to have our own viewpoints. I mean, we could share a common theme with each other, but we have to have our own. And regardless of whatever we say or do or think, in whatever situation we're in, we have our own minds to consider. Even if it's saying that we need prayer in the world. Okay, we need prayer in the world. Just don't say that it has to be one particular religion, and don't misconstrue it being one religion. I hate to be politically correct at this point over here, but some people actually do get pissed off about it, seeing one form being presented instead of trying to be generic as possible. And it sucks, because I know people get pissed off about it. I know I had. Because when I hear, and I'm going on a circular route on this one, somebody says that the world, actually our country, United States of America, was formed on prayer alone, or just on prayer. You could have said this way, on a wing and a prayer. I think I like the poetry of it, the poetics of it, just how it sounds, how it goes off the tongue. The country was formed through a wing and a prayer. or by a wing in a prayer. As a result of a wing in a prayer. A wing that generated a feather, that generated a quill, that dipped its end into an ink, that created the laws of the land. And the breath of a prayer that breathed life into it. I like that one better. So, I think I want to share that one.